Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 55 of A Year of Change. And we're sort of getting close to the end of our week, so this being Friday and the weekend coming up, I'm going to give you a couple of shows that you can watch. This isn't like homework or anything like that. It's just that at the end of the week, I figure, you're going to be watching TV and hopefully unwinding a bit, unless you work the weekend, in which case, I'm sorry. But I thought it'd be best to sort of, each week, not showcase, but sort of recommend a documentary or a program or something that you can watch just to sort of, keep the conversation going. Now, a long time ago, when I first started up the recommended viewing, it was a show called Man vs. Food, which isn't really related to what we're doing here, but just sort of something that you can watch in awe at the quantity of food that a person can consume. But with this, I really want to sort of concentrate more on actual recommendations of a show. So there are two in there in my recommended viewing right now, and I think it's probably best to start with ones that I already have in there, just to sort of start at the top of the list and work our way through. And they're both from the same show, just two different episodes. And it's a show put out by National Geographic called Taboo. Now, there are a number of different subjects that it touches on. It goes through religion, blood, childbirth, child rearing. There's a whole bunch of different subjects that are in there. Body piercing, I think, is in there. Tattoos. And every episode, it sort of touches on something that is outside the norm. And it did two episodes, one of which was fat, and the other one was fat acceptance. So you can sort of watch those hand in hand if you want. They run about 45 minutes long each. And it touches on a number of different things that, some are good, some are bad. But I think it's going to be one of those things that, one way or the other, it's going to elicit a response. It did with me. And we'll start with the first one. First one is just Taboo, Fat, which, very straightforward. It has a number of different segments in it. It sort of just follows the obesity epidemic in North America. It follows a man that tries to go in for surgery and sort of shows his struggle, what he goes through. It goes through a number of different things, people that are overweight and how they handle it differently and things like that. And it does go to different cultures as well. There's one, I can't remember the name of the country. I think it's Bangladesh, but I don't know, to be honest with you. And that same sort of rail-thin, skinny body type is not considered the standard of beauty over there. And so generally what they do is that the mothers will force feed their children, specifically their daughters, to get them sort of fattened up for marriage. There's really no other way to put it. And there is a scene where a mother's force feeding her child, and it's really tough to watch. It's one of those things that we've all gotten to that point. I think I've probably mentioned this before, where you're eating something for overeaters among us, that we've gotten to a point where you still have food left, and you have a mouthful, and you think, if I swallow this, I'm going to barf. And basically, that's where this kid is. And the mother still has like a heaping bowl of, it's like a grain and milk mixture, like millet or grits or something. And she's force feeding her child because she's saying, no, they can't be skinny. That's unattractive. They need to be fat for their husbands. And it is really tough to watch. So I will warn you up front. And it's weird because her mother did it to her. She's doing it to her daughter. And it's not just a matter of, no, you better eat this or you can't go out to play. She, inflicts pain on her in order saying, this will distract her from the pain in her stomach from being overfed. And it is really rough to handle. And you just sort of want to scream at her and say, stop. I don't care. And this is, I understand this is part of their culture. But holy shit, like, stop. I'll find a husband for your skinny kid. Just stop. It's horrible. So they sort of touch on that. They go, they touch on a number of different things. Then they have a beauty pageant. And for, I guess, they do call them plus size people. Now, a beauty pageant is one of those things that I've never quite understood. I mean, obviously, I understand the concept of a beauty pageant. I think it's just all the sort of, they wrap it up in a nice little bullshit package. and say, well, we have to have her wear a ball gown, and we have to have a talent portion where she, plays a kazoo on her head, and ask her about world peace. And it's just, it sort of disguises the whole thing, where really they might as well be bringing them out and just going lot 47, lot 48, and then just say, okay, everyone pick whoever you want to fuck more. Because that's pretty much all that a beauty pageant is. And if you want to take part in that as an ego boost or whatever it is that, makes you want to join in, by all means, go for it. But don't pretend that it's something that it's not. If you want to go in and say, I just want to know if I'm the prettiest person of all these people, fine, then go for it, because that's what it is. Don't go in thinking, oh, well, if I answer this correctly about world economics, and, I can juggle 4 elephants, and I can... Actually, if they could juggle 4 elephants, let them win, because that is really, really difficult. Even if they're baby elephants, I don't care. Let them win, because that would be worth it. I would watch something if that was this. I don't care what they look like. If they could juggle 4 elephants and they still won, then they would redeem themselves. That would be okay. But if there's nothing wrong with just saying, no, we just want to parade people around, makes them feel good, and we'll ogle them and drool and be all weird and creepy. That's perfectly fine. But don't pretend that it's something noble, that you're saying, oh, it's an inner beauty. It's not. It's basically who is the hottest. And they sort of do that same thing with this show. It's a beauty pageant for plus size models, as they put them, but really it's the same sort of thing. And I understand that it's a confidence booster and everything else, but at the end of the day, they're going, no, you know what? Out of all of you, this is the person that we would want to fuck more. So it's one of those subjects that really bothers me. Not the beauty pageant itself. It's just the fact that they try to pretend it's something that it's not. And when it comes to any of you weird parents out there that put your kids in beauty pageants, that's weird on a whole other level. And I'm not going to sort of get on that topic, because that's going for days on that one. But you can't be surprised that you put your kids in these weird things and parade them around like adults, and then wonder why you have programs like To Catch a Predator on TV. You can't have it both ways, and it's just fucking weird. I don't know why parents would do that. Anyway, before I sort of get way out there, I'm going to try to bring myself back to what we're talking about. So, National Geographic show is Taboo, and the first one is Fat. So, anyway, they sort of address a number of different things, including the weird shit, and it is really interesting. It's about 45 minutes long for each episode. The second one is sort of, although the first one sort of touches on, being happy the way you are and that sort of thing. And, it does touch on other things like, not really excuses, but there are some that would say, oh, well, I'm fat because my mom used to make cookies every day. Well, you might be fat as a kid because your mom cooked cookies every day, but we're fat now because we go out and we buy more cookies or we make our own. So, but it does touch on a number of different things. It is really interesting. The second one touches on fat acceptance. And I've been fairly vocal as to how I feel about this. And on one hand, I sort of understand, it's one of those things. It's the adult's way of saying, don't make fun of me. But it touches on a number of different things. There's a woman who opened a club, which is pretty much caters strictly to fat and obese people. There is a woman who does nude modeling, and how do I put this? She's not really hired, but it's not like a sex thing with an escort, but I suppose, it's sort of like she fulfills the need for guys that, in the show anyway, there's a guy that just wants her to sit on him or stand on him. And so she does that. Apparently it's not a sexual thing or anything like that. It's just, so she fulfills that. So they sort of touch on that. And there are a number of other things that they sort of touch on. And again, it's one of those that it's going to elicit some emotion. It's going to get people talking. And you can certainly comment in their videos as well. Or in this one. For each week that we do one of these, hopefully it'll be something that you'll be able to comment on and share your opinion. I can't imagine that there are going to be very many people that are going to have a differing opinion than I do about the woman force feeding her child. And yes, I understand it's a cultural thing, and we should be understanding, but when part of your culture is, harming a child to force them to eat, it just seems weird. So, and just, there has to be some point when you say, no, that's not right. But anyway, I'm going to get off on that again. So, you'll be able to discuss both of these down below. You can go up to the MyFitnessPal group and talk about some stuff there. And I'd like to do one of these at least once a week, and I'm probably going to sort of start by going through the things that are in the recommended viewing right now, just because those are the ones that have sort of struck a chord with me right away, and those are the ones that I think we could share to start with. And as things progress, I'm going to be finding more and adding those in there as well. But for right now, I think 2 for the start is pretty good. Normally I'll just be doing 1 each week, but where this is the same show, I didn't want to say, oh, we'll just do this, and then you'll go up and say, well, there's 2 episodes there, and there's 8 more videos, and I can click on all of them. So it's mainly just this one, or these 2. So, and again, this isn't like a homework thing. This isn't required. If you don't want to watch it, don't fucking watch it. I don't care. If you do want to watch it, though, it is very entertaining. It's very informative, and in some cases, sort of eye-opening as to how we're viewed, how we view other people, how we view ourselves, and things like that. And I just found it to be really, really interesting. And that's what a lot of these are going to be. They may not be positive every time. There's one that's in there now that I'm probably going to do for next week, which is severely depressing and will make you somewhat angry. But in every case, at the very least, it's interesting. Whether it makes you feel happy or sad or gives you that little bit of boost in your confidence or makes you feel horrible about yourself, whatever it is, there is going to be some reaction one way or the other. And it's that sort of thing that I feel that is going to sort of set this apart from just the regular, oh, well, I've lost 20 pounds today or this month. Today, Jesus, my leg fell off and I lost 20 pounds. I'm so proud. Anyway, this is a fairly short one. I sort of went off on a rant about beauty pageants and stuff, which I stand by. If you want to do a beauty pageant, fine, but just call it what it is and just say, I'm going to find out if I'm prettier than my neighbor. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. Don't go up and go, I'm going to try to solve world peace in a 30-second soundbite, because it's fucking stupid. And don't put your kids in them, because that's creepy and weird. And you're living vicariously through your kids to go, oh, well, I couldn't go into it, so I'm going to put my kid into it and dress her up like a 40-year-old, which is just fucking weird. Anyway, I'm not going to get off on that again. So take a look at these 2 videos. Anyway, I think you'll find them informative and very entertaining all the way around. Hopefully, anyway, if you want to, you can certainly go through their actual channel. They've got a number of different episodes of Taboo. They aren't all on fat or fat acceptance or food or anything else. But they're all really interesting. So if you're looking for tattoo stuff or the occult or whatever you're looking for, they probably have an episode of it somewhere. And it's really interesting. It's National Geographic. Of course it's going to be interesting. Anyway, that's it for this video. It's going to be a fairly short one. I know I've sort of rambled on for, extended periods over the past couple of weeks. And we are at, we're only at like 12, 13 minutes. So we're okay. I'm going to try to keep these under 15 minutes for the time being. Otherwise, it's just going to be me saying, and in the next scene of the documentary, this happens, and then you don't need to watch it anymore. It's like giving away plot points to important things. It's like, oh, you're watching Old Yeller. Don't get too attached to the dog. Which I think I've done that joke before, but I may not have. Anyway, for right now, though, thank you very much for watching the video. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.